So just to warm up, any highs or lows from this week that anyone wants to share? Like it could be like weekend plans, like this weekend or last weekend. Anyone want to go? You can just say.
I mean, we have another air squad coming up this weekend. So
Air squad?
Like for baseball.
I don't know.
Good scrimmage.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah, anyone else? Yeah.
I lost to soccer game yesterday. I have another one Saturday, so I'm trying to win that one.
Okay, you know what? Turn around. Yeah. Anyone else? Not even one positive thing? Dang. Must be a rough week then. So what do you guys think the difference between is between of learning, for learning, and as learning? Just like an open discussion. Yeah.
Of learning is like things you do like in the moment of learning.
Yeah.
Like for learning is like for and as learning is like towards the end.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. You got some of it right. Yeah.
I kind of thought like for learning is like preparing to learn is helping yourself learn better.
Mhm.
As learning is like in the moment.
Okay. Anyone else? Have an idea? No? Alright, thank you. Alright, I just want to do like a quick little overview. We're going to actually read the text in a minute, but assessment of learning is grading and reporting, and then assessment for and as learning are intended to make assessment a part of like your support as your own whatever. Alright, so yeah, we're gonna read right now, and I want you to go through like whenever you see, we're gonna do popcorn reading. I'm gonna read just like this first paragraph for you guys, but we're gonna popcorn read, and then while you're reading, I want you to highlight anything that you think is important or anything that's like kind of stands out to you, something like that. All right. In chapter 1, I described a perfect future for assessment. My vision is that that one makes assessment an integral part of learning, guiding the process and stimulation and stimulating further learning. The word assessment is derived from the Latin word assendere or sendere, meaning to sit beside or with. Although this notion of a teacher sitting with students to really understand what is happening as they pursue the challenges of learning is far removed from the role that assessment and evaluation have typically played in schools. Many teachers have always done it. In this chapter, I look more closely at the various purposes for assessment that occur routinely in classrooms. Classroom assessment is a complex undertaking that means something different to different audiences and in different situations. Yeah, I'm gonna stop there actually. All right, you can go to page 27. The top of it says assessment for learning. It's a couple pages in. Just let me know when everyone's there. Are we all good? Did we all find it? Okay. So who wants to start that first little paragraph starting at assessment and ending at learning? You can, all right, go. You can go.
Assessment for learning offers an alternative perspective to traditional assessment in schools. Very simply, assessment for learning shifts the emphasis from summative to formative assessment, from making judgments to creating descriptions that can be used in the service of the next stage of learning.
All right, perfect. You can choose someone or I can pick someone, I don't care.
Assessment for learning is designed to give teachers information that will allow them to modify the teaching and learning activities in which students are engaged to differentiate and understand how individual students approach their learning.
Yeah, can you go down to the all the way at the bottom? I should have specified that, sorry.
The last paragraph?
Ending at resources. That whole paragraph. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. When they are doing assessment for learning, teachers collect a wide range of data for a different purpose, so that they modify the learning work for their students. They craft assessment tasks that open a window on what students know and what can do already, and use the insights that come from the process to design the next steps in instruction. To do this, teachers use observation, worksheets, questioning in class, student-teacher conferences, or whatever mechanism is likely to give them the information that will be useful for their planning and their teaching. Considering student work is not designed to assign marks and make comparative judgments among the students, but to highlight each student's strengths and weaknesses and provide them with feedback that will further their learning.
Wait, where did you stop? Wait, sorry, can you tell me where you stopped?
At the end of this paragraph here.
Thank you for reading all of that. Yeah, so basically, as we just read, assessment for learning is not so much for the students as it is for the teachers to gather information. Assessment as and of are the same in that aspect, but can you choose someone else to read until in and then where you stopped and then ending at end? Does anyone? Ben.
Go back.
Yes. In assessment for learning, teachers use their personal knowledge of the students and their understanding of the context of the assessment and the curriculum targets to identify particular learning needs. Assessment for learning happens in the middle of learning, often more than once, not at the end.
Yeah, all right, perfect. That's a good place to stop. All right, you can go to the next page, page 28. And then, Elijah, do you want to start at that first assessment? Yeah, page 28, thank you.
Assessment as learning is a subset of assessment for learning that emphasizes using assessment as a process of developing and supporting metacognition for students by introducing the notion of assessment as learning as a subset within it, and reinforcing and extending of the role of formative assessment for learning by emphasizing the role of student not only as a contributor to the assessment and learning process, but the critical connector between them. Assessment as learning focuses on the role of the student as a critical connector between assessment and the learning. Students acting as an active critical thinker make sense of information related to prior knowledge and use it to construct new learning. This is a regulatory process in metacognition. It occurs when students personally monitor what they are learning and use the feedback from monitoring to make adjustments, adaptations, and even major changes in what they understand.
All right, you can stop right there. Dr. Brown, do you want to go ahead and pick up that last paragraph, or the last section of that?
So we're
Starting at when?
When teachers?
Yeah.
When teachers focus on assessment as learning, they use classroom assessment as the vehicle for helping students develop and practice the necessary skills to become critical thinkers who are comfortable with reflection and the critical analysis of their learning.
Yeah. So unlike assessment for learning, this is more on the student's part of like, I read this or I do this and then I think about it and then apply it to whatever I need to apply it to. So this is like kind of not really the educator, more as on the student. All right, going to the next page. Assessment of learning. Evan, can you do that first paragraph for me?
Yeah.
Thank you.
The predominant kind of assessment in schools is assessment of learning. Its purpose is summative, intended to certify learning and report to parents and students about their progress in school, usually by signaling students' relative position compared to other students. Assessment of learning in classrooms is typically done at the end of something. A unit, a course, a grade, a key stage, or a program, and takes the form of tests or exams that include questions drawn from the material studied during that time. In assessment of learning, the results are expressed symbolically, generally as marks or letter grades, and summarized as averages of a number of marks across several content areas to report
want to choose someone else, it's kind of in the middle of the paragraph, and I'll show it to you, whoever gets chosen.
Okay, wait, let me show it to you, because I kind of did. You're gonna, you see at teachers?
Yeah.
You're gonna sit there, and then, oh my god.
Yeah, and then just read that one sentence until grading.
Teachers use the test to assess the quantity and accuracy of student work, and the bulk of teacher effort in assessments is in marking and grading.
Okay, perfect. And then I can just read this last part. These kinds of testing events indicate which students are doing best and which students are doing poorly. Typically, they don't give much indication of mastery of particular ideas or concepts because the test content is generally too limited and the scoring is too simplistic to represent the broad range of skills and knowledge that have been covered. So what does this sound like to you guys, like that you have experienced? Like what kind of testing? What'd you say? Summative? I was thinking more like standardized, like that was like the word I was thinking of. Like this is very much dominant in schools right now that and yeah, it's basically dominating the teaching thing. But we're gonna get on to this. All right, after reading, this is basically just a summary of points that I collected. Assessment for learning, collecting data and information from carefully designed assessments. And basically it's gauging what students know and then helping teachers understand what they have to do better for their students. Assessment as learning, it focuses more on student ability than teachers, like I said when we were reading. And it uses assessment as a tool rather than like grading tool to allow them to think critically and stuff like that. So yeah, an assessment of learning, it's intended to show students learning and report to parents about their progress. And a lot of educators use this for grading and accuracy and seeing where everyone falls on like a single line. So standardized testing is basically what it is. And it usually occurs at the end of units. This was in the reading. I didn't think that we had to go and read all of it because it really wasn't that, or it's important, but so traditionally, assessment of learning has like the bulk of the pyramid. So usually educators use assessment of learning. So like state testing and end of unit like tests or quizzes. They usually use that. And then for and as aren't usually as integrated into the education or as into the assessment. But another way to look at it is using assessment as learning at the bottom, and then for and of being the last teeny little part of it, because we want to have a good mix, but using assessment of learning is not how we can better our students. Like instead of like for assessment for learning, where you can fix what you need to for your students. All right, can you get out a device, a computer, whatever, and go on to Kahoot? Me. question, most common type of summative, assessment. Sorry, which one is it? I worded that weirdly.
Alright.
All right, type of assessment that gives teachers information to adjust their teaching ways based on student outcomes. Okay, yeah. Assessment of learning was the summative learning where it's like state testing and end of unit testing, and then assessment as learning was the students using like their critical thinking skills from assessments. All right, uses assessment as a process of developing critical thinking for students. Perfect. All right, educators should use assessment of learning more than assessment for and as learning. Yeah. Yeah, the pyramid.
Then it still got me back.
Oh, shoot, I forgot it. All right, assessment for and as learning are focused on grading rather than supporting learning. Yeah. Assessment of learning is what that is.
Was it too competitive, trying to go too fast?
Yeah. All right, an example of assessment of learning is end of unit tests. Is it end of? Yep. Alright. An example of assessment of learning are homework assignments. Alright, last one. Peer assessment is not an example of assessment as learning.